Your mic.
All right, I forgot. Let's do this again. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of TXN Talking Wrestling TXN. Alongside Anthony Floyo, I am Michael Fletcher. We're going to be doing the recap of Backlash from the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. And here we go. We started off with the Fatal 4-Way for the United States Heavyweight Championship, as it was Jacob Fatu putting the title on the line against LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. And when it was all said and done, the winners of the bout, and still the United States Heavyweight Champion, was Jacob Fatu. But Jacob did not had a little help along the way, because he had, obviously, Solo Sikoa got involved, but someone else came to the party, and one that I know very well who this guy is. Jeff Cobb, formerly of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Holy shit is all I could say was the moment. Anthony sent it on the messenger chat. Instantly my jaw's on the floor. I'm like, what the hell? Jeff Cobb? Days ago, he announced his retirement. Days ago, he said he was done. I guess not. He's now in WWE. And if you had that look on Jacob Fatu's face, he's kind of like, wait, why is he here? Who sent him? Why is he with, like, I appreciate him helping me out. I don't need no help, but why is he here? It's simple. It's simple there, Jacob. He's the kryptonite. You may be the Superman, but he's the kryptonite. And if Solo sees fit, he'll use it on you if you get out of line. Plain and simple. That's the holy shit moment of the night. I couldn't believe it. 17 minutes, 55 seconds. This is at least 3 3/4 to 4. Solid opener. We knew who was going to win it. Yeah, nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
Well, I'll tell you what, Matt. I agree with everything you just said on this. This was 4 to 4 1/4 stars for me. And before I give you my thoughts on all this, I apologize. I got a lot of things coming at me here. Some big news here that I'm going to share at the end. And there was something that happened with Drew McIntyre. I'm sure you probably heard about this. Drew McIntyre, his head completely missed the table and struck the ground early when Damian Priest did that South of Heaven off of some equipment boxes in the crowd during that US 4-Way. PW Insider reports that WWE Medical has been with Drew McIntyre and checking on him ever since the spot. So we are most certainly going to keep an eye on this. And we'll pass along any developments should there be any. But as for the match itself, like I said, 4 to 4 1/4 stars. This match had a lot of energy, and all four men had a chance to look like $1 million. The crowd was having a ball, and it seemed like everyone working together so much in recent months has allowed them to build some great chemistry. And of course, the big moment, Jeff Cobb, formerly, he'll best be remembered. I best remember him when Jeff Cobb was the monster, Matanza Cuerta, in Lucha Underground. Quite possibly the greatest Lucha Underground World Heavyweight Champion I ever saw. And but MF knows him a lot more than that, obviously, with his New Japan background. And apparently he's now a part of the new bloodline here. And Jeff Cobb was the one who made the difference. He shocked LA Knight by attacking him from the crowd. Jacob Fatu looked confused when he realized what happened, but he took advantage of the situation and finished off LA Knight to get the win. This was a fantastic opening bout. We got tons of fun action and a big debut. Judging by Jacob Fatu's reaction, though, this could cause more problems than it solves. Everyone took their time with entrances. The match didn't get started until almost 15 minutes into the show, but some of that time was taken up by the national anthem, which was very well sung, by the way. LA Knight had a nice rampage at the beginning of the match. Damian Priest with a nice hurricanrana from the top rope to Fatu. And the few moments with everyone hitting their finishers in sequence was great. A solid 4 to 4.25 stars, and we'll definitely keep an eye on the Drew McIntyre situation, as he was like you heard what I just said. So
yeah. So just to reiterate, for the viewers that came in, WWE Medical is checking on Drew McIntyre, basically because of that botch spot earlier where his head actually bounced off the mat, bounced off the concrete floor. So we're not going to speculate anything right now because we don't want to do that. But so we'll keep it posted if we hear anything. If Anthony hears anything from the press conference, something just went down in the press conference. Oh, by the way, we'll get into that in a little bit, and we'll go from there. So nothing more to say. Next up we had was the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship matchup. The champion Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. Winner of the bout in 18 minutes and 45 seconds. And still the Intercontinental Women's Champion, the Valkyrie, Lyra Valkyria. However, after the match, Becky Lynch went nuts. Absolutely destroyed her. After that, put her in to disarm her. Anthony, it is yours.
Yeah. Okay. First thing is first. I'll eat the humble pie and I will like it. I will give MF and Bullet credit where credit is due here. They had a feeling that Lyra was going to retain, and sure enough, she did. But here's the thing, though. No Bayley. I thought that was the only way that Lyra was going to retain, was if Bayley showed up and got to Becky, and I thought that's the only way that Lyra was going to retain here tonight. Universal praise for this match on social media. So many people have gone on the record and said, since the inception of the Women's Intercontinental Championship back in January, this was the best and greatest Women's Intercontinental match to this point so far. And I am in full agreement with the universal praise for this match. This was another 4 to 4.25 stars, although I'm leaning a little more towards the 4.25 on this one. These superstars were not holding back. Becky Lynch ended up with some bloody wounds on her elbows, but never slowed down. They were making sure this bout felt completely different from their previous encounter for the NXT Women's title, especially since Becky Lynch is a major heel this time around. The way this match was structured and paced allowed them to showcase their wrestling ability while also telling a story in the ring. It was hard to think of anything they could have added or done to make this better. This feud clearly is not over. The ending may have been a little overbooked, but as a whole, this was a tremendous match. And Lyra's hanging submission needs a name. It's a good move, and she should win matches with it sometimes to make it seem dangerous. Few things look as good as a perfectly executed Northern Lights suplex. And Becky Lynch mocked Lyra Valkyria's fiance, Irish wrestler LJ Cleary, in the front row. And Valkyria was holding her nose after the match, and Michael Cole said it might be broken. So there's another development that we need to keep an eye on there. But But all in all, this was another 4 to 4.25 star match. And hey, social media saying this was the best women's intercontinental match since the title's inception. I 100% agree. I am not going to argue with that whatsoever. Fantastic match. Now the biggest win of Lyra Valkyria's career. But this feud is clearly not over. There's no doubt about this. There will be a rematch down the road. 4 to 4.25 MF, without question, the best women's intercontinental match since the inception of the title in January.
Oh yeah, and everybody's been saying it. I totally agree with it. These two women absolutely tore the house down tonight. You could even make an argument that this could be women's fight of the year. That this match could be a nominee for the female wrestling match of the year. You know, not for overall, but at least for the women, this is a fight of the year candidate. No doubt.
Second best. We know what the best was. We know what the best was.
Yeah. So, but still, I mean, it deserves consideration. And I know where you're going. You're talking about Io versus Rhea versus Bianca back at WrestleMania as the best match. Yeah.
Classic.
So I mean, no doubt. I mean, you can make an argument there, but this one, without a doubt, is worthy of the 4 stars. Definitely had a great matchup. The pacing was amazing. I loved how Becky was getting into it with Lyra's fiance. And yes, he is an independent wrestler. He is from the Ireland area. So you know, and for him to bag the Valkyrie, hey, good on you, bro. Good for you. Congrats, man. Because you got yourself a keeper. That's all I'm saying. Damn. But other than that, this was a solid match. I thought the body of work was fine. I thought the action was good. I love the storytelling. And the thing is that, yes, it's not over. So, yes, Anthony, your theory could come back where Becky could end up eventually becoming the women's intercontinental champion. So, maybe you not got it tonight, but maybe down the line you might actually get that golden moment. You might actually get that. Or could this be the lead-in for Bayley to come back, get involved, and then we go from there? We don't know. Maybe they might be saving it for another night. You don't know. But whatever the case may be, big win for Lyra Valkyria. Biggest win of her career, as you stated. And now we move on to the next match, which is Dirty Dominic Mysterio versus Penta. Winner of the bout in 9 minutes and 20 seconds. And the man who is now the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, he still is Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Okay. This is about 3.5 stars. Now, the reason why I'm giving this 3.5 is this. The match was solid. The match was good. I loved some of the stuff that they were doing in this match. Penta being Penta. Dom actually was holding his own. Like, by himself, on his own. He nailed a beautiful Oblivion, a nod to his girlfriend, Liv Morgan. Oh, by the way, Liv is away. She's in Japan right now filming a blockbuster movie. So she's doing that right now. And that was, oh my God, what a move that was. It was picture perfect. And secretly, I kind of feel like she must be smart. Once she finds out that Dirty Dom did her move, she's gonna freak out. She's absolutely going to freak in Japan. But then after that, then you saw the interference. JD McDonough showed up. Then Carlito showed up. Then Finn showed up. But then Finn did a bit dipsy-do botcharoo, got the chair, got caught by the referee. You, out of here! Ejection from the building. So that kind of set us up for the finish. Dom wins it, and I'm so glad he did. That was absolutely the right call. We were begging for Dom to successfully defend the title, even though I know there was some people that wanted Penta to win. Not yet, guys. It'll come soon enough. But right now, Dom is the best thing for that Intercontinental title, and again, he overcame the odds. So by default, this was worst fight of the night. No stretch of the imagination. No arguments. This match was good, but the thing was 920, and plus the other remaining matches were just far better. So this is gonna fall into the 3.25, 3.5 level. By default, worst fight of the night. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, agree to disagree on this one. I agree it is by default the worst fight of the night because of how stacked how good the other matches were. I think you overrated it just a smidge. I'm leaning more towards 3 to 3.25. Dirty Dom looked like a tough competitor in this bout than he ever has before. Working with Penta has forced him to dig deep and bring out his best, and it has led to him doing some of his best in-ring work. These guys have developed a lot of chemistry after working together a few times over the last month, and they used it to give us their best encounter to date. This might be one of the best singles matches Dominic has had in his WWE career. He looked more confident in his ability than ever before, and he was able to keep up with one of the best luchadors in the game today. But it was not Judgment Day who was the difference maker. It was El Grande Americano. He showed up and hit Penta with a headbutt while the referee was dealing with Finn Balor, and that interference allowed Dom to hit the frog splash for the pin and get the win. The crowd has taken to Penta quite a bit. He seems to love interacting with fans on the way to the ring. He never rushes and takes his time to acknowledge kids in the crowd. Dominic Mysterio's ring gear tonight was an homage to Psychosis, his godfather. I didn't even know Psychosis was his godfather. That's very interesting. And Dom hit a nice Hurricanrana early in the bout. So the outcome was predictable. I had a feeling Dom was going to retain. And, well, we'll see what happens next. So this was 3 to 3.25. I feel that's the correct rating for the match. By default, the worst fight of the night, even though there was nothing remotely bad about it. It's just that all the other matches were just that much better. So 3 to 3.25 for that. So with that being said, MF, your boy, Pat McAfee. Oh boy, you want to talk about doing it for the brand. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he went one-on-one with Gunther, winner of the bout in 14 minutes by submission, technical submission. Gunther wins it. Pat basically got put to sleep, got put in that choke, that sleeper hold, got grapevine, and Pat fell on the sword. He basically passed out from the pain, didn't tap out, passed out. And that's how Gunther should have went out at WrestleMania. Yeah. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah, he should not have tapped out. You're absolutely right. But anyways, I'll tell you what, I'll give it about 3.5 to 3.75 of a star for this. This match was far more competitive than it needed to be, but they did a good job making it an entertaining story, even if it didn't always make sense. They kept trying to make it seem like McAfee had a chance, but we all knew it was fruitless. After milking the ending for all it was worth, Pat McAfee finally passed out in the sleeper to give Gunther the win. As a wrestling match, this was passable. As an entertaining story, this was a lot of fun. WWE managed to make Gunther look dominant without making Pat McAfee look like a chump. And you could tell Gunther was trying not to laugh at points in the match. McAfee tripped when he tried to jump over the top rope, but he recovered well. Michael Cole trying to help Pat McAfee win only for Gunther to kick out was a funny moment. And surprisingly, after the match was over, before he left, the ring general showed Pat McAfee some respect. He offered the hand. So, little surprising on that front. And there there was one comment on social media that I absolutely agreed with here. You got to give Pat McAfee his flowers. He took some shots from Gunther and did so much more than was required of him. And if you were not sports entertained after that, I don't know. But yes, 3.5 stars, solid 3.5 stars, teetering on 3 3/4 for it. Again, outcome never in doubt. We all knew Gunther was going to win, but hey, at least they made Pat McAfee. At least they made him look good. They didn't make him look like a chump. So that was my biggest concern. But give him his flowers, man. He took some shots and did more than was required of him. So good for you, Pat McAfee. You talk about doing it for the brand. You did it for the brand tonight. And he also said on his Twitter he did not tap Ott. So
nope,
he did not. So
he passed out.
Yeah, passed Ott. That's right. So 3.5, solid 3.5 stars for me. Teetering on 3 3/4, but I'm leaning more towards the 3.5 in this one. So I'm F your boy. I think we got to give your boy his flowers. I know I am.
Dude, you already know where I stand on Pat McAfee, man. You know, I'm always for the brand. I'm always for him. I'll ride or die with that stooge from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And dude, he represented tonight. It was a great performance. I know a couple of my guys in the Discord, like Jake Turner, Austin Slokey. I gotta give a shout out to them because a couple of them were yelling "Fight of the Night" for Gunther versus Pat McAfee, but just because of the storytelling more than anything else. And I tend to agree that the story was definitely good. The way that they incorporated it, even the interjection of Michael Cole, I thought it was really well done. Yes, the outcome was never in doubt. We all knew Gunther was going to win, but the way that they set it up, I thought they did an incredible job with it. So maybe this is one of those things where Gunther can now move on, whatever. Now, could he harass Michael Cole again? Absolutely. Maybe that leads to another storyline down the line about a certain someone that could be coming back to WWE for his retirement match. There's rumors going around about this is how they might set it up. We don't know. But at the end of the day, I thought it was fine for what it was worth. Okay, main event. John Cena, Randy Orton for the undisputed WWE title. They were labeling this one last time. The winner of the bout, 27 minutes and 50 seconds, and still the undisputed WWE champion, John Cena. He wins it. Excellent matchup. Obviously, this was instantly 4.5. You can make an argument for 5, but this is probably more 4.5. The storytelling for this matchup was incredible. The way that this was played out was Orton at home in St. Louis throwing everything but the kitchen sink at John Cena, but some way, somehow, Cena was able to overcome the odds and win it. And you notice, Cena's starting to crack a little bit. There's cracks in that armor when it comes to John Cena. And this was something that was brought up towards the end, that this is amazing storytelling, that the weight of the belt is starting to get a little heavier on John Cena now. He talked about that weight of the belt or the weight of the title that it overcomes and it consumes. That it's harder for a champion to hold on to it. And he talked about it on Cody, and we saw what happened. Cody lost at WrestleMania. Cena is starting to crack. And you notice that invincible armor is not as invincible as we thought. Because look at that attitude. Look at the way that he's talking. Look at the mannerisms. Look at all the stuff. It's starting to weigh on him, which means which tells me now that even though he's saying that he's going to destroy wrestling, it looks like professional wrestling is going to destroy John Cena in the process. This like Jake Turner brought this up after the promo, and he really brought it up, and he made me really think about this, and this is why I really got to give him a shout out. He said this is brilliant storytelling, and it is in his own words. This is why he loves professional wrestling. He gets it. I get it. You get it, Florio. This is why we love this shit. This is why it's real to us. Every time Anthony Florio ends he always ends the show on Ridiculously Raw by saying that wrestling is indeed actually real. This is why it's actually real to us. 4.5 stars, Anthony Florio. It is all yours.
Love the plug there. Absolutely. 4.5 stars. This is not getting 5. Not at all. The dreaded O word, overbooked. Overbooked. Oh, holy overbooked, Batman. I mean, we had what? 2 ref bumps, and we also had Nick Aldis and all the officials getting RKO'd by Randy Orton, and the championship belt coming into play. Now, there are some people, I mean, I've read a lot of comments on social media saying that this was better than Cena and Cody. And I will give them that. I'm in that majority as well. And the main event of this year's Backlash is likely the last time we will see Randy Orton and John Cena face each other one-on-one. So this felt like a big deal before it even started. Once they got into the bout a bit more, this turned into the kind of bout these two have always had. They know each other better than anyone, so everything they did looked good, but nothing they did was surprising. Randy Orton and John Cena are both very different than they were 10 years ago, so they paced themselves and built up the big moments instead of trying to pack in as much as they could. They had a lot of time to work with, so they had to fill it wisely. While this was a solid main event, it's hard to say if it's one of their best performances together because they have had so many. It felt predictable in spots and a little slower in some places than it should have been. But it still had plenty of fun moments that called back to their long history together. Both men survived finishers from the other a couple of times. We had a couple of ref bumps. Chad Patton got taken out. Eddie Orengo got taken out near the end of the match. And we even saw Randy Orton steal John Cena's AA to put him through 2 different tables. John Cena took out the second official who showed up, preventing anyone from being able to count when Randy Orton hit another RKO. The Viper looked befuddled as producers and agents filled the ring, but nobody made a count for him. He RKO'd SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis and several other officials out of anger. And the difference maker of all people was R-Truth. R-Truth ended up stopping Orton from hitting the punt, allowing John Cena to hit a low blow from behind. He nailed the Legend Killer with the belt. Chad Patton crawled back in to make the count and win and end the match. This was a lot of fun, even if it was very overbooked towards the end. I know Cena said he would never change his theme song, but John Cena should come out to the theme he used before his usual song. It would add to the heel side of his character because that was the tune he used when he was a heel all those years ago. The spot when both men hit their finisher at the same time was a bit of a callback to a tables match they had many years ago, and the crowd popped big when Randy Orton started clearing off the announce table. It is the fight of the night. It is 4.5 stars, but way too overbooked. And too many ref bumps, too many belt shots, finisher after finisher after finisher. It's been done. It's been done. And that's all. That's my only constructive criticism of it. But this is a 4.5 star match, though. It is the fight of the night. So With that being said, let me get into the overall thoughts on this show here tonight. I got to give this in excess of maybe 8.5. Backlash has always been considered a B-level event for WWE, but the thing that makes this show good is the action in the ring, not its pedigree. This year's Backlash featured some strong performances in the 3 mid-card title bouts, but the women's Intercontinental and the men's U.S. Championship matches were the biggest highlights on this show. Dominic Mysterio had one of his best performances to date against Penta, and Gunther and Pat McAfee turned in a solid bout that made the former NFL player look more competitive than expected. However, all eyes were on the main event. John Cena and Randy Orton worked their asses off to give us an entertaining show. But as I just said, some of the shenanigans I strongly felt were unnecessary after a little while, a trifle unnecessary after a little while. As a whole, Backlash was an above-average show with few things you could reasonably complain about. None of the results were surprising, but it was a decent way to spend a few hours on a Saturday night. So I'll give this in excess of 8.5. So that's my story. Take us home, MF.
Yeah, I totally agree with the 8.5. I really thought they did a really good job with it. I really enjoyed how it played out, and yeah, I really got no arguments coming from here. I thought they did an incredible job with everything that went down. So yeah, 8.5, and yeah, I think they did. Like I said, I think they did an incredible job. So nothing more to add, and we are out of here. So on Tuesday night is another edition of Ridiculously Raw. We'll be covering Monday Night Raw and NXT. On Thursday, yes, it's happening, y'all. It is the 2025 NFL schedule release. It's happening. We're going to do it. We're going to go by every game, breaking it down, what we like, what we're excited for. And we'll have that for you guys on Thursday. And then Friday, we're back at it again with another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk after SmackDown goes off the air at 11. Not many more shows that's going to be on 11 o'clock. We will be going back to the 10:30 very, very soon in a couple of weeks. In a few weeks, we're going back to the 10:30 format. We'll do it then. But until then, we're still at 11. TNA, it's SmackDown Live, and we will have it all then. So for Anthony Florio, I am Michael Fletcher saying so long, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see you all on Tuesday night.
Goodbye.